Taiwan will never back down to China threat, Iceland presidential hopeful says during U.S. transit. Taiwan's Vice President William Lai Center attends the lunch banquet in New York on August 13. CNN, Taiwan will never back down in the face of a growing threat from China, the Iceland Vice President and the presidential hopeful said Sunday during a transit through the United States, defying Beijing's condemnation of his trip. William Lai, a front-runner in Taiwan's presidential race in January, made a stop in New York en route to Paraguay, where he will attend the inauguration of each new president Tuesday. The South American country is one of the only 13 states that maintain former diplomatic relations with Taiwan, a self-governing democracy that China's ruling Communist Party claims as its own territory despite having never controlled it. In a speech to supporters at a lunch banquet in New York, Lai portrayed Taiwan's long-term survival as something the international community should take an interest in. When Taiwan is safe, the world is safe, and when there is a peace on the Taiwan Strait, there will be world peace, Lai said, according to Taiwan's presidential office. No matter how great the threat of authoritarianism is to Taiwan, we absolutely will not be scared nor cower. We will uphold the values of democracy and freedom. Lai's comment came after China's foreign ministry condemned his stopover, calling Lai a troublemaker through and through. It said China firmly opposes any official interaction between the U.S. and Taiwan and any Taiwan independence separatist to the U.S. Taiwan and the U.S. have both said that Lai's transit, including a stop in San Francisco on his way back Wednesday, are routine. These transits of senior officials on unofficial, in keeping with our U.S. One China policy, a senior administration official told CNN on July 16, calling such transit fairly common. Lai last transit the US in January 2022. Lai, 63, hails from the so-called Deep Green faction of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party called the DPP, known for its more openly pro-independence leanings. The Harvard-educated doctor turned politician has previously called himself a pragmatic worker for Taiwanese independence. That has made him particularly loathsome by Beijing, which has not renounced the use of force to take the self-ruled Iceland. Since winning the TPP nomination, however, Lai has adopted a more moderate line on China. Under the leadership of Xi Jinping, Beijing has ramped up economic, diplomatic, and military pressure on Taiwan, particularly after the 2016 election of President Tsai Ing-wen, who won a second term in 2020. Under Taiwan's constitution, Tsai cannot stand for the third term. Taiwan's election will take place in January and could have profound consequences for international relations at a time of intense scrutiny over whether she might one day follow through on his vow to reunite the Iceland with China. The DPP's historical challenger is Kuomintang, a political outfit that was once the bitter enemy of China's Communist Party, but has since morphed into a party that favors much closer relations with Beijing. The trips to the US by Taiwan's officials are referred to as transit instead of visit because the US does not have formal diplomatic relations with the government of Taiwan, and the stopovers come as part of the unofficial trip en route to another destination. In March, Taiwan's President Tsai transit in California and met with the US housekeeper Kevin McCarthy despite warnings and threats from Beijing. Following Tsai's trip, China launches the 3 days of live fire military drills around Taiwan. CNN's Alex Steinbach and Hida Chan contributed reporting.